welcome to Ad America. My name is Aninda, one of the guests here in Ad America, and we welcome our audience joining us here. Well, Ad America is the U.S. Embassy's American Center, and our mission is to provide a space for young Indonesians to learn more about the United States. On this event, we'll be continuing our series of Learn from Online Influencer Stars. In the meantime, I'm going to give you a little fun fact related to our event today. Did you know that Josiah Wedgwood is the first influencer ever advertising pottery back in 1760? Well, that was the fun fact, but if you have more fun fact related to our topic, let us know on our chat box. So, without further ado, I'll introduce you to our moderator today, Irfan Diaz Sanjaya, Career Consultant. Tomas Diaz, the floor is yours.
Yes. Thank you, Aninda, for getting me in. Hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Greetings from at America to all of the audience who registered for today at America's event, Learn from the Star Session 2. I hope you are all in the excellent condition, although we are still in the middle of the pandemic transition, but hopefully everyone's joining me today is ready to get inspired and recharged. We are finally back to our lovely stage at America. Let me introduce myself. My name is Irfan Diaz Sanjaya, or simply call me Diaz. I'm a Wisely Academic Fellowship Program 2018 alumni, and currently working as a career consultant and career coach in several institutions. Today, I will be your moderator for the next 1 hour session with the title Finding Your Business Ideas and Bridging Them to Reality. As a bridging to welcome our honorable speakers, my hand says the specific discussed topic will be something that very admired by the millennials generation. Why? Because our guest speaker will explain on how to become an influencer in today's landscape. For those who have wondered who's the exciting person is, believe me, this person has a significant influence on how to promote Indonesian cuisine in the USA market. She will be joining us directly from the US. A little bit background about her. Her name is Kak Diana Wijojo. He is a Hardena co-owner, which is Hardena Philly has served traditional Indonesian cuisine since 2001, and in 2018, Kadiana Wijojo and her family scored a nomination from the James Byrd Foundation as one of the best chefs in region. Wow, what a stellar achievement Kadiana has achieved. So, without further ado, give the round of applause for Kadiana Wijojo. Hi Kadiana, can you hear my voice?
Yes, hello.
Okay,
Morning,
hi
everyone.
Kadiana. How are you feeling, Kak?
Sorry?
How's your feeling today? Good?
Oh, I'm good.
I'm good. Okay, Kak Diana, we will discussing something that's a very familiar topic with our journalists today. But before we start, can you please describe your background and please tell me about your business ideas and so forth?
Oh, so I'm gonna give you a little history then. So it really starts with my mom. Her whole life she's been like cooking because her mother taught her how to cook and bake. Her mother also taught like cooking classes from her home. So as a child, I saw all her wonderful work, and of course, I became her helper too. So she cooked for the Indonesian consulate for the majority of my childhood. So eventually, she left the consulate to start her own business in Philadelphia, and then Hardina was born. So my parents sort of left us when I was starting high school. And at first, I didn't want to go into the restaurant industry. I really wanted like a glamorous job. The restaurant industry is not very glamorous. Um, but as I got older, I realized that there weren't any Indonesian role models that I could look up to here in America. There were like Indonesian restaurants were non-existent here. The only way to get Indonesian food was through our community, like arisan or going to masjid. And as a child, I always wondered why it wasn't as popular as Chinese or Japanese food. So that's when I decided to go to culinary school. So during this time, I interned at high-end restaurants in like uptown Manhattan. And I was very ambitious. I asked them to put me in every position so I could learn hands on. And I also worked in fast food because you got to start somewhere. So fast forward, I eventually moved to Philadelphia, but I always knew that I was going to take over the restaurant. But I wanted to make sure that I had as much experience that I could before it was official. So so I can offer the best I can when I took over. But growing up, and I was like really shy, and I had low self-esteem issues. So I told myself that I had to get past that. So what I did was whatever opportunity came to me, I took it, and I slowly came out of my shell. Um, it's it was very important to me to make new friends in the restaurant industry because I know how essential it is to network and collaborate. And
Okay,
that's kind
wow,
of
what
how
a
it got to
opening.
me.
Thank you so much, Kadiana, for the very short yet compact introduction about herself and about her businesses. And now, Kak, we are entering the Q&A session. So I have some question that I already built up before. First one, I've read the article about you in the food blog-based website that you are highly promoting Indonesian cuisine to your all-American neighborhood. Can you please share your background or journey and how you will pull the connection into today's position as an influencer, Kadiana?
Okay, so like I said before, like my parents started it, and then I got all the experience that I could in my industry. Um, and then as I was like learning how to navigate this industry, I took upon myself to make friends and make connections to other people in the same industry. Because you have to learn from other people. You can't just like do it yourself and think you're going to be successful. You have to have a community in which you can rely on, that will help you through it. So I think that really helped for me because if I didn't have those relationships with these people who are now my friends, I wouldn't be where I am today because I wouldn't have the confidence to do so.
Okay, thank you so much. So you are speaking about communities and the environment that you are surrounded by. And my next question is, we all know that all people have someone they look up to, someone who can bring a spark that influence our way of life. And I know you are very familiar with this kind of words. And in your case, can you share who's inspired you to become an influencer like today, Kak?
Oh, well, I don't really actually consider myself to be a influencer, but my goal for my work and my life is to educate people about Indonesia's culture and art through food. But for me, I think that person would be Anthony Bourdain. So, his work was always honest and it told them the stories that needed to be told. But most importantly, he was never judgmental or boastful when he was educated. So I kind of look up to that and try to do the same thing when when I'm presenting myself.
Okay, wow. Thank you so much, Kadiana, for the very interesting answer. And the next one, I'm going to bridging the condition that the Indonesian landscape is now having some sort of like an aspiration to become someone's like you, someone's like who have a big influence on something they are very interested in. And in your case, how do you think we as a youth generation can build in terms of skills to become someone who has a big influence and where to start even we know it comes from the scratch itself, Kak?
Um, I think my biggest advice would be just take the leap. It's like running a business. You need to take the risk. It might not be rewarding at first, but eventually you will get there. You just have to keep at it. Like I remember when I first started our Instagram, it took a while for people to follow us, but I kept going and I kept posting. And it's funny because when I hit 100 followers on my Instagram, just 100, I was so happy because I could see that it was working. So sometimes it's tedious and there's always something new, like that was a new trend. But as you go along, you're also learning and evolving. And it's like when I look at my past work, I can see how much I evolved, but I would never be where I am now if I didn't take those opportunities to keep going.
Okay, so the key point is the first is always the hardest, and Kadiana took the long road before we are knowing Kadiana with all the achievement that he has achieved in the today's position. So thank you so much, Kadiana. And the next one is maybe you also noticed, in the previous 10 years back, we know that influencer is a very relevant with the blog. So we know the terms of blogger. And nowadays, where all of the social medias very rapid growing, we all know some sort of like terms like celebgram, celebrity Instagram, and TikTokers, or even someone that has kind of something that even built in a less than a year before. And then as your experience, what do you think, or what is the drive that all people trying to be someone that has very lucrative influence to others, in your opinion? What makes people driving into it?
But like what makes people want to do it?
Yes, what makes
Oh,
people they're trying to be an influencer in their certain topics that they are very master at?
oh, well, for starters, if you have enough followers and viewers, these platforms will start to pay you. So I just recently got offered to get paid to do content on Instagram. So that's a major benefit. So if you have, the more followers you have, the more they'll pay you. Um, there are like plenty of people that do social media just for a living. Like they'll quit their job and just do it. But besides getting paid, um, you also gain more clients through it too. So it's really a new and innovative way of marketing your brand. And you don't even have to pay to advertise your work. You just have to be consistent and creative. And you have to know your trends. So people that see and enjoy your work can share it with their friends, with their friends on their feeds. So I think probably one of my favorite perks is like sometimes I get free stuff, which is nice. So whenever that happens, I share a photo on my story of the gift. So it's like win-win for both of us.
Okay, so I caught that there's a financial return. And as you are the influencer that you are trying to influence people, and people's going to buy your products, and that's where you are get the feedback that you are very aspired to. So thank you so much, Kak Diana. And it leads me to the next question, Kak. You know that in the nowadays that the market has become red. So we know as a red ocean. So the competition is undoubtful and very inevitable to avoid. And I think authenticity becomes more and more vital in this current era. So what do you think you are having some sort of like differentiation to even to similar others, Kak? And any tips on that?
Oh, yeah. So I know life can be competitive, and a little competition is healthy and will force you to stay like innovative. But for me, I don't really believe in being competitive because I see value in working with others. Like for example, my friend who has a food business, but she sells Malaysian food. So, Indonesian and Malaysian food is similar, and we both know that. But we both know our styles are different, and each has their own special element. But we also know the power in working together, um, and that will benefit us both rather than not supporting each other. So we will find a way that will mutually benefit the both. Like if you think about it, if I have 50,000 followers and she has 50,000 followers, and we work together to do like a pop up event, that means we have a combined audience of 100,000 followers. So you really have to like think of it as how I can grow without alienating someone else. Like if you found ways to work with people in your industry, I think you're stronger together than alone.
Okay, so I got a key is a collaboration instead of competition. Is that something that correct, Kadiana?
Hmm.
Okay, and then Kadiana told us about story that how she and her Malaysian friends, instead of making something in the more competitive areas. They're instead making a collaboration. And this is something that we should realize in this today's era, how we can separate the ego and how we can enrich our competitiveness instead of how we are trying to make others feel like a threat or even us like an enemy. And that's how I got the point from your perspective. So thank you so much. And the next one is speaking about your experience as an influencer, despite you are not having a good intention to get called as an influencer itself, but there must be a challenge that comes from internals and externals factors. Based on your day-to-day role, what are those obstacles and how you trying to avoid this for the generation to come? I mean, for the someone who having a goals to be an influencer.
Um, well, some challenges. Well, since I own and operate a restaurant, it can be hectic to post on social sometimes. So running a restaurant always means like I have long hours. So sometimes I might be too tired or too busy to be creative. And honestly, posting on social is a whole other job. Like I really should hire somebody else for it, but um, you just really have to be on top of it. And right now I'm trying to learn TikTok. So it's like you're still educating yourself on all these new things. So you have to be on top of all the new trends and like how to use filters. But yeah, but you just have to be consistent and dedicated to it.
Okay, you are saying that you should be dedicated and put sometimes to have your commitment on it. And you mentioned that you just entered the world of the TikTok. And then can you please
Oh
share to
yeah.
me about what is the difference that you are having a role as an influencer in TikTok and maybe in Twitter or even Instagram that you are currently having as your social media?
So I'm not really that young. So Instagram has been very easy for me. It's just you post pictures and then you write a caption and that's it. But then with TikTok, you got to make videos and you got to edit it and then you got to put the music and then you got to put descriptions and words in the video. And it's kind of like, wow. But at the end, it's so worth it because you have this beautiful content that people like really enjoy. And, um, I feel like TikTok is more popular now than Instagram is. So it's like I have to.
So it's due to the high market demand from the user on TikTok. So that's what make you, despite of you are saying that you are not young anymore, but the spirit that you have shown already inspired us on how, despite of how old we are, in case that you have a business or something that you are very passionate on it, you're trying to still have something that you will need to learn on. So thank you so much, Kadiana, for the answer. Next one, there's an anecdote Kak, says that you are where you are living at. In your case, you have spent some times living in the USA, and I'm curious, and even all the audience are also curious. How has your experience shaped you to become someone's today, Kak?
Oh, so I was born and raised in the US. And so that gave me a lot of perspective towards like different people and religions, cultures, foods. So I grew up like knowing all this, you know, all these types of people. So I spent the majority of my life in the most diverse city in the world, which is New York City. And growing up in a middle class Indonesian Muslim family in New York City with people from everywhere, and it opened my mind to the beauty of what the world offers. So I grew up to appreciate different people and respecting their choices, their belief, partners, etc. So I'm really grateful to have had that experience.
Okay, so you mentioned that you are very grateful due to the diversity and how the U.S. Society and U.S. norms have been supporting you a lot until you are becoming someone's that standing today. And we are trying to moving to our next part. So we already received some of questions coming from our social media. and I'm trying to read it one by one based on the question that I think is very interesting to get your insight on. The first one is from your side, which one is more important, having social media or the business itself in the first beginning?
Oh, I mean, you have to have the business in order to have a social media. So it's you can't have a social media for something that you don't have. So business first. You gotta think about what you want to do. You have to be sure that's what you want to do. You have to also love, you know, um, what you do. So that first is the most important thing. Like for me, I had to learn what I wanted to do until I started my social media, and by the time I started social media, the restaurant was already like 10 years old. So it's like, you know, you just have to start off with that. You have to find your niche. You have to find what is special that you are going to offer, and then you could show it to the world.
Okay. So for those who are asking this question, I know you might be triggered by the words of fake it till you make it, but still you should have your own business while you are also preparing for the social media. And I think that's a very unique case. Thank you so much, Kadiana. Next one, what are the most important metrics should I measure in social media? There's a few: engagement, reach, or do you have something in mind regarding the metrics that you are counting on the social media itself, Kak?
Yeah, I go by reach. I don't really go by likes. So reach is really important to me because I know how many people have seen it. Um, so there is a difference. So the reach is like uh how many people your posts have reached. It doesn't even include your followers. It includes like everyone that have seen it. So that to me is like the one that um I I deem to be more important.
Okay, so you are highlighting reach is much more important than likes or even the follower itself. So for those who are still asking which one is more important, so I think you need to put more respect on the reach instead of others, guys. So that's the good point from Kadiana. Next one, I've read an article, a research shown that Indonesia is the country where all the population have the second most uh, apps that used by the netizens, just below the India. So we have average between 8.5 until 9 social media per person in Indonesia. So the next question that I think is still relevant with my research statement is, do we should have all the social media to introduce our brand, or even how we're trying to make themselves as the influencer itself?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Do you think we should have all of the social media that exists today, or you should prioritize two or three social media? And if there's any prioritization, which ones that you think is much more important than the other social media that exists?
I mean, I know there's a lot of social media apps out there, so it's like you do the one that is more comfortable for you. If you're gonna do all the platforms, you're just gonna burn yourself out. Stick to the ones that you know that will, give you a return. Like for me, it's ever like I don't ever focus on Facebook because it doesn't give me enough return. You know, but I will focus on Instagram and TikTok. Well, I'm still learning TikTok, so it's like I just need to get to the point where it's where I'm at and on Instagram. And I know there's other social media websites, but I'm like, you know, uh, I'm not into Twitter. I don't really like the platform too much. So it's like something that you're comfortable with.
Mm.
And once you get, the followers that you have, then you can kind of like expand, or like if you can afford it, you can hire somebody else to do the other platforms. But I think just doing what you're comfortable with now first, I think that's more beneficial to
Mm.
you to not burn out.
Okay. So the point is always prioritizing the things that you are very focused on. And Kadiana mentioned about Instagram and TikTok as the top two social media that they are very handle on. So thank you so much, Kak. Next one, I think this question coming from someone who just built a business and they are very confused on how you can handle media, social media, while also managing a business by yourself. Is there any case that you've been experiencing before, or coming the stories coming from your fellows on how trying to balance between these two activities, Kak?
So I am the only one. So my business is a family business, but I am the only one that does social media. So I'm the only one that does any posting and creating. Um, it's it's hard because you have to find the time to do it. And you know, for me, I would find like space in between. Like I really wanted to post something like a special that I made, so I'll like take about it could take anywhere from like 10 minutes to an hour to write what I want to write about it, and create like a short video with music. So it really you just have to be, you know, just have to be dedicated. It is a lot of work. It is extra. It's like on top of running your business, you have to make a video for your social, and it could be very intense, but um, you just have to do it. But I think if you can find a time, like the best time to do it for yourself, then you can manage it somehow.
Okay. I heard that you were saying implicitly about how to become a multitasking person. Despite of, I know that being a multitasking is something that's very stressful because you should balance and juggling two works or even more in the same time. And Kak Diana also mentioned that how you're trying to delegate to others in case that your business is growing. You should need a team that can help you in day-to-day operation. So you won't be the only person in charge in every single business section that you are focusing on. So thank you so much, Kak Diana. We're moving. I think this question is very interesting, Kak, because creativity is very expensive. Even in this world that is very led by high tech technology, I think one of the things that human still having is the creativity is coming from our experience and our imagination. In your opinion, how you can still producing and creativity despite of your having a very rigid schedules that is very monotonous in some way?
I think it's important to find some time for yourself. Even though, like, for me running a business, I can work maybe like somewhere close to around like 12 to 14 hours a day, like all like 6 days a week. So it's important for you to find time for yourself and like get to know like um what it is that you want to create. So I mean, even looking on social media and getting influence from other influencers is that also helped me a lot. Like, oh, they did this thing with a video, maybe I could do that. So like you can't just be creative all on your own. You have to get like some inspiration somewhere. So but yeah, but it's really important for you to take the time to just um, have time for yourself, so that
Okay.
you in order for you to be creative.
Okay. So what I got from Kadiana is how you can spend some times on how you're trying to scrolling down, finding an inspiration, searching for the some content creators that creates a very insightful post, and then you're trying to make an adjustment on your own business. For example, Kadiana on the food and beverage. So you have others businesses, and you see that what Kadiana have just posted is very insightful for you, and you are still make a similar what Kadiana have posted, but in your own way and in your style. So thank you so much, Kadiana. So we still have some questions, but I just want to put one more last question before we're jumping into the interactive session with our audience. Um, yeah, I think this is question interesting. How Kak Diana keep the consistency? Because running a business from 2001 until today is a very long, tough journey. While you also promoting to the social media that cost a lot of efforts and also resources that you need to handle. So, how you trying to balance and also make some sort of like a consistency in between, Kak?
How am I consistent? Is that the question?
Yeah, yeah. How you can still manage your consistency until today?
Well, that's that. How do I stay consistent? Um, well, I'm always looking for inspiration, and my friends are also a big part of that too, you know? So, um, so my friends are better at me, than me at TikTok.
Mm.
So it's, you know, so I always get suggestions from them, like, oh, you should do this, or and this is how you do it. But staying consistent is really hard because like you're operating your business and you have to do your social media. It's very tiring. But I just find ways. Like if I have a break in between, then I will do it. Because I know it's important that I need to do it because if not, then I go. People won't pay attention, and you want people to keep your focus on your business. So I think that's what kind of drives me to stay consistent because I want I want my business to stay successful. So I put that into like a priority of mine,
Mm.
like to stay consistent with social media because I know the power of social media. It's not like the old days where you just opened up your business and just waited for people to come at the door. This time you have all these all these avenues that you can take. So take advantage of them while you have them.
Okay. So what I got from Kadiana explanation is how you need to have some sort of like internal and external motivation. It's either coming from your drive or even someone's that very supporting you in a very day-to-day status. For example, like Kadiana mentioned, there's a friends that is very actively giving suggestion to Kadiana and that's what makes Kadiana feeling very empowered because she knows that there's someone that is very supportive in each other's background. So thank you so much, Kadiana. I think the last question, and maybe this is not something very relevant with the topic, but I'm very curious. As you were serving an Indonesian cuisine to our US fellow US market, what kind of menu that they are very very interested to taste even for once and even they're trying to reorder repeating order in your restaurant, Kak? Maybe you'd like to share some.
Oh yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of things that are popular in my restaurant. So it's when they come in, they really I'm lucky because a lot of people that do come in are very like open-minded and they want to try everything. So but our like most popular ones would probably be the rendang. And now that there's a lot of vegan vegetarians like here. So a lot of people come in and they would come in for tempeh.
Mm.
So that's like one of the things that that especially tempeh. I love to promote tempeh. So that's one of the things that people really like when they come in.
Okay, tempe. Wow. Yeah, I mean, tempe is very traditional food, yet it's very delicious. So I think
Mhm.
it's not wonder like everyone's even in this world are having tempe is one of the top list menu that they're very order. So very interesting. And also, Kadiana, do you have any plan to open restaurant in Indonesia or even rather than the US market, Kak?
Um, I don't think I have the capacity to do both. Uh, but I wish, but I'll keep that as uh, uh, something in my head.
Okay, because why I asked the question, because I checked the Kadiana Instagram and saw some of the photos that taken pictured by Kadiana's team, and despite of the menu is very familiar with the ones that I'm seeing every day, but still it still get tempted by mine. So I think it's very good if all of us can also test Kadiana restaurant, and even if we have a chance to go to US. So I think this opportunity should not be missed to visit Kadian restaurant, Anj. So if there's an opportunity is coming in the future. So thank you so much, Kadiana, for the very interactive session. So I would like to invite one of the audience here, maybe to share a story about he or she's business, and the person will also share about what is the strategy to promote the business, and later on, after they finish the story, Kadiana can also give some like of suggestion or even feedback to the story. Is that possible, Kak?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyone wants to share the business? Okay. So there's one lady in the Americas stage would like to share. Can you please share the name and tell the business that you are running and the details that you would like to share to Kadiana, including on how you promoting the to the social media.
Hello, Tess. Kak Diana, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Hello, Kak Diana. My name is Dinda, and I have a business salon that is focusing in LS and nails treatment. And I guess you like to use LS in your eyes, maybe, or you like to use nails on your nails, like a nail art, Kak Diana. And I have the
Oh, like
business.
nail art?
Yes, I have the business
Oh my
since
God.
2019, and this is I want to sharing about my how to expanding my business on social media. And at the beginning, I know the market is from Instagram, so I use that social media for for expanding the business and for marketing strategies from Instagram. And first, I really don't know how to use Instagram for expanding the business, so I use my own profile to promote this by my Insta story, and then I ask my friend to share about my business to their Instagram. So I asked my relatives person to help me to share my business. And then I got a more and more client from my friends, and I think I should use Instagram advertisement. And when I use Instagram advertisements, I really get more and more impact, and so very happy after that. But now I use TikTok too, and as you said, not only we can use social media like Instagram and TikTok to expanding the business, but we should know the content that we should have, and we should make a collaboration by from any business. So I always make a content that very engagement the client, but sometimes I very confusing, because when me and my team are make a content that very proper and very good, but the engagement is so small. But sometimes when we make a random posting or when we make a random video, the engagement is so big, and sometimes this is make me so confusing. Can you suggest me how to handle that? Thank you.
Thank
So
you. Yeah,
there's actually,
Kadiana, your turn.
yeah, so there's actually, there is, if you look it up, there are ways in which, the time that you post and what is it? Well, mostly what time you post will determine how much engagement your post will get. So for me, like I've noticed, like if I posted something at let's say like 2 o'clock compared to like 11 o'clock, those two are different, you know, they have different engagements for both posts. So I would find that the one at 11 o'clock gets more engagement than the one at 2 o'clock, because I think like at 11 o'clock, people are like on their lunch break or they're like waking up. So, people are on social media. So it's like more, what is it? You just got to find out what times people are on social media more often, and then you could use that to post your stuff. So that's one strategy that that I realized like over time. Oh, this post gets more engagement than my nicer post, but it's the difference is just the time. Um, and then what else? And sometimes with like it's hard because you have to be a little crazy enough to make um a post that will be like viral, like that'll go viral, so you just have to be creative enough to like find how you know how you can market yourself, but not in a too crazy way.
Okay, so what I can conclude from Kadiana's explanation is, first one is how you can divine the right timing on when you need to post the content on the social media. And the second one is you still need to be very awakened that all the trends are moving very fast, very rapid, and how we can positioning ourselves in a very transitioning market is very also important, so we don't lose any momentum, and that's something that coming from Kadiana. Is that clear from Linda? Okay, thank you so much, Kadiana. A very insightful session and also very good feedback that Kadiana given to Dinda. On the next one, Kak, do you mind if we still having three more questions coming from our social media to get us, Kak?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, cool. Okay, so I'm trying to separating questions that have been questions so it won't be redundant. Oh, this one. How to make a creative a caption? It's a very
Creative
technical,
question.
but yeah, how to make a very creative, engaging, a hooking caption on your experience?
I mean, for me, I always stay true to myself. So honesty is like one of my biggest things, and sharing your story, like for me, when I post a picture of a dish, for example, I always like say a story behind it. Like this is like a dish that we would have for a family gathering. And something that will connect people to you. So I think it's important that you establish a connection, because these are people that are looking at your content. So, when people are looking for content, they're really looking for connection to other people, So it's like, oh yeah, this is me. So like when I'm looking at, social media, I'm like, oh yeah, I could totally relate to this post. So I think being, honest and sharing your story is like the biggest, like factor for me when I'm posting my stuff. But yeah, it depends what you're going for. If you're going for like extreme, then I don't know what's the. I'm not really extreme.
Okay, wow. Okay, what I
But
can,
I think if
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
stick
I
with
get,
it.
I get the point. So I think what I can bring as the conclusion is knowing the market will help us to shape what kind of caption that we would like to deliver. Because I know some caption will very lucrative for some market, but some things that's too old, it's too something that's very uncommon. And how we are very having a right awareness, it will be helping us to make some sort of like innovation. And last one, don't feel bad if your first attempt will not get any kind of a good feedback, but there's still iteration happens after that, and that's where your business will grow and your skill set as an influencer will also increase day by day. So thank you so much, Kak Diana. Next one, what are some common issues with your social media marketing plans?
Issues?
Yeah, what kind of, like, let's say, like, what kind of obstacle that you are facing in terms of creating a social media marketing plans?
I mean, for me, it's just learning like new stuff. So that's like one thing. Like for TikTok, like I have to learn. It's a whole new platform, so I just have to learn, and it's kind of like starting over. So that's kind of like an obstacle. But yeah.
Okay, so is there any, sorry, maybe the question will be like, is there any case where you are having some trouble with your social media plan? Is there due to the trends changing, or the strategy is not fit with the market, or any maybe something that can describe it's more clear cut from your experience?
Uh, I mean, for me, like my social media is just about food, so it's like everyone loves food, so there's not really like conflict there. But when um, are you talking like conflicts with other people like that?
Could be one of the reason. I mean, everything's related to social media marketing plan, because the question asked on the on the social media is asking like, is there any problem with your social media marketing plan? So it's up to you. You can share your personal stories, or even any tips or tricks on how to create a proper social media marketing plans on your experience, Kak.
Oh, okay. So I mean, okay, I think I get it. So you really have to find your target market, which is really, really, really important. You don't want to. I know you want to advertise to everyone, right? But that's not the right way to go about it, because you have to focus on your target market. Your target market will help you grow your business. They will spend money at your business if you find your right target market. So, like for example, like if I'm selling kids' toys, I wouldn't promote it to senior citizens or like older people, because I'm selling kids' toys. I would sell it to parents, people who have children and kids. So I wouldn't spend time like promoting it on other target market. So you just have to find your target market. You have to know who and like who will spend money at your business. So I think that's the most important thing, is to find your target market, because other if you like focus on marketing to everyone and every age and every like what is it, every income level, then you're just going to burn yourself out. So you have to know what your target market is and who you're trying to reach, because those are the people that will engage with your content.
Mm. Okay. So the point is, knowing your target market will help you to make some sort of like a right or correct promotion to the market that they are very targeted on your what business that you are handle. And for example, in Kadiana's case, since Kadiana says that everybody loves food, so this is something that may be suitable with the market that they are Kadiana targeting in the US itself. So thank you so much, Kadiana. I think this is the last question, and I would like to choose some question that is very related to your personal preference. There's question, Kak, what is your favorite food, Kak? What is
Oh,
your,
my
sorry,
favorite.
what is your favorite Indonesian food? Sorry, I correct.
Oh, Indonesian
Yeah,
food.
Indonesian food.
It would have to be satay. I
Okay.
love everything grilled. So,
I thought you will say rendang. No?
I mean, I love rendang too,
Oh.
but I think satay has a special place in my heart and my stomach.
Okay, so do you still eat satay in the US also, Kak? Or maybe that you should visit Indonesia first, or any personal story behind it?
Oh yeah, I mean, we sell satay in the restaurant, so if so, whenever I'm making satay, I always make some for myself.
Okay, so Kadiana, despite of she's living in the US, anything I think it's far from here, but still, her favorite Indonesian food is still satay. So anyone who loves satays can raise up, guys. So you have a friends even from the US fellow in the Kadiana itself. Thank you so much, Kadiana, for sharing. So maybe we are approaching the last session, and before I close the today's session, Kadiana, do you mind to share your closing statement about the topic that we are have been discussed on the previous 1 hour before?
Yeah. If you're thinking about starting a social media, just just do it. It's okay to start small, but it's also important to be patient and to keep going. Just trust in yourself, and it will pay off.
Okay, superb closing. Thank you so much, Kadiana. And we have reached the end of our session. I'm Irfan Dia Sanjaya, your moderator signing off. I give the mic back to Aninda as the MC. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Once again, give a big applause to Kak Diana and Kak Dias. Thank you so much for the insightful discussion. So, all of you, you might be wondering, you have great ideas that you would like to have in Ad America. Well, we would love to have you here. You can send your event proposals to us on our website at www.adamerica.or.id. Select create a program and go to collaborate with us. All the event proposals will be reviewed and your event might be featured here soon. While you are on our website, make sure to subscribe to our newsletter to get our weekly event updates. You can also find us on social media. We are on Instagram, Twitter, and also Facebook at AT America. You can get fun content, giveaways, and so much more. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, thank you for joining us. My name is Aninda, and see you next time. Bye bye. Yes, we would love to take group photo with Kak